Good vibes, creature of God, fellow earthling. How are you doing today? I hope you are well and full of good vibes. I am Y311H. I'll be taking you through today's episode as we react to some good vibes videos from across the whole world with different information. We will be on our mission of spreading the message we have to the whole world. Child of God, we are in need of help, of earthlings like yourself, to reach this message to all corners of this world. The message is easy because, my friend, it's about uniting all earthlings, making sure we are all honest people, living in peace with one another, and everyone loves their neighbor the way they love themselves. But before we start the show, I'll be sharing with you some words of wisdom from the Guide of Life. Today, the words, my friend, will come from Genesis chapter 49 from verse 26, Good Web Source. But before we read that word, my friend, let me tell you something else. Here, we believe in the Creator, God Almighty, the supreme maker of all, whom we always talk to, acknowledge before we start our everyday show. We shall be doing that shortly, so kindly prepare your hearts before we talk with our Almighty Maker. Now, let me share with you these words here of wisdom from the Guide of Life. And Genesis chapter 49, verse 26a, this is what it says. Your father's blessings are greater than the blessings of the ancient mountains, than the bounty of the aged old hills. Let all this rest on the head of Joseph, on the brow of the prince among his brothers. Interesting. Big up and much love to all the parents and guardians watching today. May God bless you abundantly. Let's talk with our Supreme Maker, my friend, before we dive in and take a look at the videos we have today. Dear Lord Father, full of mercies, kindness, and love, we thank you for this beautiful day, Father. We thank you for your breath in us, Father. Thank you for life. Thank you for the words we read from the book of wisdom, Father. All glory belong unto you, dear Lord. May those words be of help in our life, Father, and may they grow in us, Father. Dear Lord, your adorable child here that have joined us today, Father, today's viewers, thank you for their lives. Thank you for the blessings in store for them, Father, through this video. May you impact their lives, Father, with your goodness and love, Father. From where they are watching from, Father, may you reach them. Intervene in their lives, Father. Be merciful to this viewer. Forgive them all their sins, dear Lord, Father, and lead them in your path. Uplift their souls, Father, and give them strength. And as you do great and unimaginable things for this viewer, Father, include us too. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we do pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Let's dive in, child of God.
One that cracks their fingers, there's one that everyone misses, okay? And it's this one, the thumb. It's called the trapezium joint, okay? And it's really simple. Everyone can do it. You just push down over here. You see? See, you haven't been cracking that one.
No.
You know, the way I do it on myself, I get my joint and I just like that. There we go. So now you know. It was a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Have y'all seen this video going around the internet of this man that looks like Kanye West? Now, before I start, this is not false information. This is just opinions, okay? But this guy looks just like Kanye West. The man who took the video was trying to talk to him and he was just completely zoned out, was not moving at all. This man looks more like Kanye West than Kanye West looks like Kanye West anymore. This is Kanye now compared to this guy. And man, he said if he ever disappears, whoever came back wasn't him. That's Kanye from back in the day. Look how much this man looks like him. What's really weirding me out is the haircut, because he looks like he's been lobotomized. I mean, is that Kanye? That looks so much like old Kanye. That is just weird. It's uncanny, for real. It's crazy. And I'm telling y'all, look at this. Here's a before and after picture of a woman after she had a lobotomy down here. It's pretty weird. What do you guys think?
Annabelle the doll has traveled before. Yes.
I'm seeing it in all these comment sections. They've taken her out all the time. Not like this. Yes, Ed and Lorraine took that devil Barbie out of their house and they took it to expos. They took it to conventions. The person that's currently carting that doll around the country is taking it to known haunted locations and sites of heavy paranormal activity. Not taking it to expos. And when Ed and Lorraine carted that doll around, they kept it in its box. This guy not only transferred it from the original box into a new enclosure, he is regularly removing it from that enclosure. So while yes, Annabelle has moved before, not like this. And even though Ed and Lorraine were Ed and Lorraine, they said, don't take it out of the box!
So a lot of Westerners see many African people siding with Russia and think that Africans have been propagandized to think that evil Russia is good. But in reality, it is you, Westerner, who has been propagandized to think the West is good and Russia is evil. Because for at least the past 300 years, the big bad guy in Africa has not been Russia, it's been Western Europe and America. I mean, Russia didn't murder and enslave millions of Africans. Western Europe did that. Russia didn't colonize Africa and wipe out and erase thousands of years of culture and heritage and send its people into slave labor camps. The West did that. Russia didn't build roads only from the mines to the ports to facilitate the mass pulverization, ravaging and stripping of Africa's natural resources. The West did that. But do you know what Russia did do? After 1945, when all the colonized people in Africa began to rise up against the British, French, Portuguese, American and Belgian oppressors, do you know who was there giving the freedom fighters guns, ammo, supplies, medical care and training? Russia was. When the ANC began to fight back against the Western-funded apartheid in South Africa, do you know who was there supporting the fight for freedom? Russia was. There is a reason that to this day the flag of Mozambique still has an AK-47 on it. It's because the tools of liberation from the most oppressive occupation in human history came from Russia. So the reason so many African people will laugh in your face, Westerner, when you tell them Russia is evil is because you are the one who is propagandized and has fully consumed fantastical history where the West is somehow the good guy. The reality is, the West has always been the villain in Africa. It is still the villain in Africa, as the West to this day continue to fund violence across African nations and assassinate African leaders, so Western corporations can still steal all of Africa's resources under the cover of mass violence and manufactured instability. So yes, even though the Soviet Union is long gone and the Russia of today is a very, very different place, many Africans will never forget that the only European country that ever showed up for African liberation is Russia, and no amount of Western propaganda will ever erase that fact. Because the only people who believe the West did anything good in Africa are brainwashed Westerners. Anyway, something to think about.
Hello.
I get you? Because it definitely surprised that lady, that's for sure. So look, what happened here, the way this guy is walking is like somewhat normal here, just walking. One thing I want you to notice is he comes around the garbage and she starts talking to him. Here comes the hand, look at the bottom. Here comes the hand out. As the hand starts coming, look at the tongue. What is this? So he's saying, all right, I'm trying to figure out what the hell is happening here. I'm starting to get a little tense about this. A little bit of lip lick here. And again, people always ask me about the lip lick. In this context, in this moment, dog is saying, I'm getting a little bit stressed about this thing here. What the hell is this hand that you're sticking towards me, right? Everything from this point, he switches here and goes into just curious smell. Now the dog is saying, all right, in this moment, I'm curious to see who you are through my nose. All of a sudden, right here, this scent is unrecognizable. So he stops. The moment just shifted now because this scent, I don't know this person, and now your hand's in my face, and then wow. Please, if you watch my content, I'm just asking you, I'm not telling you to do anything, but I'm asking you, when you meet dogs, do not do this hand in the face thing. It's just a recipe for disaster. yes, they're in a high probability you could get bit, especially if you talk to the wrong dog. Love you guys. See you in the next one.
What's the simplest thing that utterly blows your mind to the point that you're kind of ashamed to admit it? For me, it's just this right here. It's the fact that this view of the earth turned upside down is exactly as valid as the other view. I realize that everybody else noticed this when they were 5 years old, but obviously in space there's no concept of up or down. But there has been discourse about this, about how psychologically we instinctively think of some countries as being on top and others being on the bottom, when for the actual orientation of the globe it could be this. And it's the same thing with any show set on a starship. Like, all of these ships have artificial gravity that points one direction, but once they're in space, the concept of up or down is meaningless. You could film the whole thing like this and it would be just as correct. And yet, if you ever see a fleet of starships in a movie like this, they're all flying with that same orientation. Like, okay, we've all agreed that this is going to be up for all of us. When of course there's no reason at all that you couldn't have some of them be upside down or sideways. But if you kept doing that in your movie, people would find it like physically upsetting to look at.
A Norwegian man who was asleep in his home on the edge of a fjord had a lucky escape when a huge cargo ship ran aground a few meters from his house. Johan Hellberg was eventually woken up by a neighbour insistently ringing his doorbell to alert him to the fact that the 135-metre-long vessel had embedded itself in nearby rocks. Local police from Trondheim are trying to establish why it ran aground, but said there was no suspicion that drugs or alcohol were involved.
Is anybody hungry? I just feel like everybody's got to be hungry right now. Good. I was hoping you'd say that, because I have this crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza?
I'm going to need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. Did Jay reach out yet? Nah, Bob. He ghosting.
What? Hey, was that guy the famous musician from English Rats? What's up with the pizza issue? Huh? Is there anything suspicious? It's like I'm missing out on stuff here. Good Vibe Sauce. Those last 3 videos. Some Good Vibes guy were talking about pizza. I didn't understand what was the intention of that or what was creepy in it. But kindly share your perspective down below so that you can help me understanding this. Now we've seen interesting stuff from Good Vibe Sauce that look alike. There was that dude there that really resembles Kanye West. Could that be him in another universe, or what just happened? Good Vibe Sauce. It's crazy stuff going on all around us, which is a reminder, my friend, that we all need to unite and be full of good vibes. One more thing, Child of God. You see, we believe here that everyone, in every corner of the place, there is a good vibe. So it doesn't matter where you come from, the region you are born. What that really matters, my friend, is how you behave towards other creatures of God. If you are full of love, kindness, honesty, the virtues you speak about here, my friend, the world will be full of good vibes. The reason as to why I'm saying this is because of the video we just saw. Some Good Vibe Sauce happen to think that other Adrings from other places of the world, like for example Russia, that they may not be as perfect human beings as others in terms of goodness, you see. But my friends, it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you are a kind human, loving your neighbor the way you love yourself. That's what really is important, and everyone is a child of God. Let's keep on watching, and I hope the videos, my friend, give you a good time till the end. Peace and love.
You cannot discover a place that already has people living there. To the guy who said Africa was discovered by Europeans, let me teach you something. You don't discover a place where millions of people already lived, traded, built kingdoms, and developed complex systems long before Europeans touched African soil. When Vasco da Gama arrived in 1497, he didn't find wilderness. He found cities. He found the Swahili coast, Kilwa, Mombasa, Mapungubwe, civilizations trading with India and China centuries earlier. Only thing Europe discovered was its own greed. You didn't discover Africa. You invaded it. You renamed it. You redrew the borders. You enslaved and colonized. That doesn't sound like discovery. It sounds like theft. Why do we still believe this lie? Because history is taught from the perspective of the thief, not the victim. And that is why your textbooks lie.
So I'm going to show you the difference between somebody who lives without the law of assumption and somebody who does. So for me, example, 15 years ago when I used to get up, I'd go to work. This is what I would do. I would drive my car, go to work. Somebody would cut me off. I'd be like, you an asshole. You cut me off. Did you not see? I almost hit you. And I'd get to work all frustrated. Then I would go to work. My coworker would come and see me and we would get into a little rift. What a bitch. And I would go talk to my other coworkers, she's doing this, she's such this, and she's that, blah, blah, blah. And then I would go home, and then if my husband or my boyfriend was cold with me and silent, well, I would do the same thing. I would be cold and silent with them too. And I'd get really pissed off and probably go to bed angry. That was the old me, the old version of me. Now the new version of me, which has the law of assumption lifestyle, does this. I go to work, I drive to work, somebody cuts me off. I'll sit back and go, I manifested that. Either yesterday or the day before, I must have get frustrated somewhere, and here it is again. Okay, no problem. God bless you. Go ahead. I go to work. My coworker is coming to me, and we get into that little rift. She leaves. First of all, I don't say too much because I'm realizing she's only reflecting me. So this comes from within me. So I don't say anything, and I reflect on how do I feel about myself in front of this person, or what is my story in front of this person, because she's only coming into my reality the way that I either view myself or the way that I view her. Then I go home and I see that my husband is silent. I don't do the silence anymore. Now I will again be nice to him, not react to the 3D that is happening in front of me, and go inside myself and reflect. Why is it that my husband is being silent with me? What concept within myself is happening? Misunderstood, unheard, unvalued, whatever it is. And then I go within myself and I work on that. And I don't even talk to him about it because he will only reflect me. Once I fix it, he comes into my reality the way that I want him to. Think about it. It's a real life changer.
Most people don't realize that your brain is always going to try to look for evidence to confirm what you've told it. So if you're feeding the brain the story that nothing ever works out for you, your brain is going to search for everything in your life that reinforces that idea. This is called confirmation bias, but it also works the other way. If you start asking yourself, what if things are working out for me? Your brain is going to search for things that confirm that too. The story we feed ourselves matter because our brain is always trying to prove ourselves right.
All right, y'all. I'm not going to repeat myself too much in this video, but I do want you to know. Oh, hey, buddy. The astronauts were not stranded in space for 9 months. This is what happened. So last June, 2 astronauts went up to the space station to help test the Boeing Starliner capsule. The astronauts were supposed to come back about 8 days later. However, we noticed that the capsule was having problems while it was docked to the space station, and we really didn't feel comfortable sending them back down in it. So the decision was to send the capsule back without the astronauts on board. We couldn't send the astronauts back immediately because of an operational rule that we have for the International Space Station. And that rule is that if an emergency happens, every astronaut must have a ride home back to Earth. The problem is that with the Boeing Starliner capsule gone, sending the 2 astronauts home immediately would have taken away at least 2 emergency seats from the remaining crew members. So let's say something really bad happened and we needed to evacuate the station. Well, in that case, there would have been at least 2 astronauts who would have legitimately been stuck on the station without a possible ride home. So to get around this issue, we came up with a pretty simple yet well thought out solution. Crew 9, which was the next mission, was scheduled to launch that September with 4 people. Instead of sending up 4 people on the Crew 9 mission, we just decided to send up 2. What that meant is that there were 2 empty seats on the capsule, and so those 2 empty seats could be used for the Starliner astronauts in case of an emergency. In case you don't really speak English, or for whatever reason you haven't been able to follow the things I've said, the astronauts have had a ride home since September should they need it. Now, you may be wondering, if the astronauts could have come home since September, why did they stay up there so long? And the answer is that we wanted to keep the operational schedule as normal as possible. With Crew 9 only having 2 people instead of 4 people as we originally planned, we decided to take the 2 Starliner astronauts and say, congratulations, you are now part of Crew 9. And Crew 9 was always scheduled to come home after Crew 10 docked to the space station, which happened late last week. Since Crew 10 is already on the station, that means that the 2 Crew 9 astronauts and the 2 Starliner astronauts are currently on the way home. And they should be back sometime around the late afternoon. Now, you're going to see a lot of articles and hear a lot of people say that these astronauts have been stranded in space for the last 9 months. Do not listen to them. Especially if those articles or people are politically motivated, do not listen to them. And whatever you do, do not listen to anything Elon says. Like, just, if you see him say anything that is whatever, just ignore. Instead, listen to information that presents itself as purely factual and politically neutral, and also listen to information from people like me who actually work in the industry and know what the hell we're talking about. Now you know.
Hey guys, so I gave my friend 1 bean pod last year and he gave me back 7. Let's see what's inside. There we go. Oh, we got more sword beans. Look at the size of this bean. We're gonna replant these. Actually, drop the bean. Look at there. That's the size of the bean. It's a vine, guys. All right, keep growing.
If you get your military issue weapons stolen in the field or in the military in general, all hell's gonna break loose. I don't know how else to tell you. All hell is going to break loose. Now, why do I say these things? Because when you lose a weapon, you now lost government property. The government do not care if they lose you, but if you let you lose that weapon, oh yeah, it's over with. They got your ass. Like, they on your ass like skinny jeans and leggings and back pockets. They got you. Okay, so what happens? Say if you lose your weapon in the field, you lose your weapon on base, blah, blah, blah. They're going to shut down the base until this weapon is found. You will not go home. Nobody's going to go anywhere. And everybody will hate you for the next either day, week, or year for that same situation. Because they don't just hold you back. They hold your whole team back. They hold the whole battalion back. They hold the whole flight back. They hold the whole brigade back. They hold everybody back. And they do a thorough search for this weapon. If they still don't find it, still, nobody cares. You're going to set up a tent and spend the night there. Nobody is going to go home. You know, and you're going to get in hella trouble. And I mean hella trouble. Like, you can't just be like, I'm getting now, so I'm going to act like I lost my weapon so I can take it home with me. That's not how it's going to go. Like, and then people are mad at you because they have families, people have wives, people have children. And just because you lost your weapon, now they can't go home. Now they pissed off. Don't lose your weapon, guys. If you lose your weapon, all hell's going to break loose and everybody's going to hate you. That is what it is.
A chicken named Susan has become mother to a peacock, and she doesn't seem to mind that she's raising the most enormous child she's ever seen. Susan's human lives on a property with free-range peacocks, and she found a lone peacock egg one day after the mother had already left with her other babies. So she slipped it under Susan the hen, who accepted her new role without question. When little Pee-wee the peahen hatched a few days later, Susan didn't even seem to notice that her new baby looked a little different. She immediately got to work teaching Pee-wee how to forage, protecting her from other birds, and completely ignoring the fact that her chick was rapidly becoming a giant. Now 6 months old, Pee-wee is bigger than every bird in the coop. But she still follows Susan everywhere, sleeps next to her at night, and even still tries to tuck under her tiny wing for comfort. Susan struts around proudly with her massive offspring, thinking she must be the best mother in the world for her baby to have gotten so big and strong. The story is so sweet that it even inspired Susan's Human to write a children's book, which will be coming soon. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
One day I woke up and was randomly able to speak in two voices at the same time. So I'm going to show you, and just as a warning, it sounds really weird, and I also have to do a really weird voice in order to make it happen, so this is going to be kind of goofy.
Nothing lasts forever in the cold November rain.
It's really weird. But then I realized that I can actually kind of talk like that as well. So let me try it again. And once again, this is going to sound really goofy.
Hello, my name is Mr. Two Voice, and I can speak in two simultaneous voices at once.
I don't even know if that's going to show up. I'm going to have to watch the video after and see if that's even like recording on camera. So some trained professional singers are able to tap into a second vocal fold in their vocal cords and sing in two different voices at once. But the thing is that I am not a professional or trained singer. I would say my singing voice is like pretty average. And this just happened out of nowhere. One day I just woke up and I was able to do it. Does anybody have any like idea why I'm suddenly able to do this? It just happened one day out of nowhere. Very curious.
The World Economic Forum says a cyber pandemic is inevitable. And if their last inevitable prediction tells us anything, we should really take it seriously. You might really want to share this one. It affects the entire planet. They ran simulations, held closed-door meetings, just like they did in 2019. This time it's not a virus in people. It's a virus within the internet. Now they're saying there's only one solution. It's a full system reboot. Now how do they plan on accomplishing that? Turning off the power worldwide, all at the same time. They're calling it sanitizing the digital space. I call it a global blackout. Hospitals offline, banks offline, supply chains frozen, society on pause. This is what you need to do to be preparing for the power outages and supply chain shortages. Stockpile all necessities. Food, water, cash, medications, first aid, and alternative power sources. Heavily ration your supplies from day one. Stay informed. Follow trusted news sources if you can find any to be alert on any official advisories and timelines. Whatever this is, it's coming. And this time, there won't be a mask to hide behind.
Your kids don't want to take care of you when you get old. It's mean, right? Let's hear me out. It's not that your kids don't want to take care of you when you get old. They don't want to take care of a body that you didn't take care of before you got there, okay? That's where we're at. That's where I'm at. My kids don't want to take care of me when I'm old if I can't move, okay? If I didn't take care of my body, if I can't walk, if my mind's gone because I've eaten too much crap, like Little Debbie's, for years and years on end, and I allowed myself to get too overweight where I couldn't walk, so my knees hurt so bad, they don't want to take care of that, and they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to take care of a body that you didn't take care of in the first place. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. We'll talk more about that later. I'm not going to get my steps in right now. I have to go plan a funeral, okay? But I'll be back later.